It's time now for our daily check-in to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, as world leaders and executives crack on with the second day of the summit there. Our business editor, Kate Moody, is standing by. Hi, Kate. What is on the agenda for this Tuesday?
Well, speeches from Spain's Pedro Sanchez, the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, all set for this morning. So we're likely to hear a lot more support for Ukraine, a focus on European security, and on the question of energy independence. The U.S. climate envoy John Kerry and the International Energy Agency's Fatih Birol are due to speak on a panel about that question of energy and sustainability. Now, Germany's economy minister Robert Habeck has today said that the EU ban on Russian oil is, in his opinion, just days away. He says that the EU and US are also considering a rather unusual proposal that might cap global oil prices. Now, during a panel discussion here at the World Economic Forum, he pointed out to what degree the challenges that are facing the global economy at the moment are really interconnected. He said that the solutions, therefore, must be as well. So you cannot address the energy crisis at the moment without also addressing the question of energy transition, about sustainability. Now, I've been speaking to the head of the UN Development Programme, Achim Steiner, about those issues. Take a listen.
I think the whole concept of energy security has just been put into really the center stage of world attention again. The short-term response may be to look desperately for alternative sources of fossil fuel, that's oil or gas. But I think there is a second interesting trend that will come with this, that energy independence also means a transition towards renewable, cleaner energies. So in the short term, this could be a dramatic crisis, first of all, in terms of the economic impact, perhaps also slowing down some of the energy transitions that have begun. But I hope ultimately we will see a realization that dependence on fossil fuels in this day and age is both from an energy security, geopolitically speaking, but ultimately also from a climate change perspective, which here in Davos is an important topic, simply not rational.
Meanwhile, Kate, the head of the IMF has been warning about risks ahead for the global economy.
Yeah, the biggest test for the global economy since World War II, according to Kristalina Georgieva. She said that war, pandemic, volatility in the financial markets and monetary policy, and the rising risk of climate change amount to a confluence of calamities. She said she doesn't expect a global recession is imminent. The IMF is forecasting GDP growth of around 3.6% this year. That is a far cry from recession. But she said that weaker economies could still slip into contraction, and that's partly because of the rising price of food and fuel, a problem that has, of course, been worsened since Russia invaded Ukraine, pointing out that while people can try to reduce their overall energy use, they still have to eat every day. So that food crisis is really something that's getting a lot of attention this week. The World Economic Forum's chief economists have issued similar warnings about what's to come, in particular highlighting that food crisis, which they say could be the worst in history, along with very high inflation and growing government debt. I'll be speaking to Kristalina Georgieva later on today about those issues and some of the other things that are being discussed here in Davos.
And Kate, supply chain disruptions are also a major piece of that puzzle. What are business leaders where you are saying about that issue?
Well, they want more balance, really, around the world. There is a fair amount of underlying concern here about the impact of those ongoing COVID measures and lockdowns in China, in particular, the impact they could have on their bottom line. We are starting to hear some industry chiefs slowly paring back their outlooks for the coming year, admitting that their business is taking a hit. The CEO of Intel, for example, now saying that he doesn't expect the semiconductor industry to be rebalanced until at least 2024. He had initially been projecting sometime next year. At an informal briefing that I attended, he said that the solution to these supply chain strains may in fact not be less globalization, but more spreading out of their resources and manufacturing capacities. That's why Intel is investing in facilities around the world, 33 billion euros in Europe, including an R&D center in France that's expected to bring in about 1,000 jobs. Pat Gelsinger saying that for years the world has depended on just-in-time supply chains. He said it now needs to switch to just-in-case supply chains with lots more options so that disruptions in one part of the world don't necessarily mean everything grinding to a halt everywhere else. He says it's one of the lessons of the current period of crisis that he hopes other industry chiefs and other participants at the World Economic Forum will be taking home with them.
Kate Moody reporting live from Davos this Tuesday morning. Thank you very much.